Thank you.
Yep, no problem. How is everybody? You guys all look very forlorn. Are we good? Super focused, huh? Does everybody
I'm trying to figure out my ring light. That's why I look like I'm being blinded right now.
You look very white, like you're very bright white.
Yeah, I can change the settings.
Which one did you get?
This one was just like I think it was like $23, but it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
Because I always look orange or funky looking
Sure.
in my lighting in my house.
Sure thing. Okay, Natalie, whenever you want to kick it off, we can kick it off. I don't know where I put hang on one second. Okay. Are you ready to go? Or we have everybody on here, I guess?
I'm ready to roll. I think I have one or two other people hopping on.
Okay.
But we can do this.
We can start. Okay.
Yep.
Because I know we want to make the most of everybody's time and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to send a quick message to somebody real quick. Okay. All right. Does everybody have their team leader tracker sheet handy? Are you guys like, oh, the trackers? Okay.
Wait, can you tell me what your, this is Katie, sorry.
Yeah. Hey, Katie.
Can you tell me what sheet you're talking about? Are you talking about, okay, yeah, that's what I have.
Yep.
Because I was trying to figure out like how we update that each month versus like, it looks like a one-time thing, but now I lost it. I'll be right back.
Hey, Jenny. Actually, wait, show me that one again. Yeah, it's the same one. Yeah, mine's just printed out in, yours is printed out in landscape, it looks like. Is the 1-star diamond rank thing at the bottom?
Yes.
Okay. The team leader one. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And really,
because there's also a team builder one, but we decided to go with the leader one because Jenny can talk about that too.
So the team builder one and the team leader one are the same, but the team leader one involves kind of step 2 for you. So you might as well, according to my husband, who's the expert with all things numbers, he says you might as well just focus on these activities on the team leader. So it's kind of like you're skipping a grade by going to the team leader. Does that make sense? But it makes the most sense for the purposes of this group. Okay, so Natalie, do you want me to kick it off, or do you want to kick it off, or what?
Jenny, I can kind of kick off like a little bit with what we're gonna do, and then so you guys can clearly see this is a little bit I don't want to say new for us. For my team, we haven't done like roundtables before. So Jenny did a great job explaining what we were going to do. And the goal roughly was to meet together and not for us to necessarily talk the whole time, but really hear from you guys about what's working for you and what maybe challenges you've had. And I think from what I've kind of heard from a lot of coaches, it's very easy to feel like you're alone in some of the things, the barriers that you have. And I think with this community and being able to talk with each other and talk with our teams, with each other's teams, is going to be really, really neat. Jenny and I decided that if we had these business goals and people have set these rank advancement goals and we have the business activity trackers that we're doing daily, why not once a month look at the team leader tracker to just kind of see where we're at, where our strengths are, where there's some work that needs to be done. We did also add with the link, with the Zoom link, Jenny has shared the Google Doc, which it has you go through and put in your business activities. And I think just use that as a measure for keeping yourself accountable. I can tell you for me today, I went through and there were some areas that I'm like, yeah, I want to finish my follow-ups, or there were some things that I knew I was going to put it in an actual accountability sheet. So it pushed me more. Jenny, did you want to start by talking about the leadership tracker a little bit?
I mean, sure.
And I can kind of hop in too, but yeah. I think it's just kind of gives you a good idea on the path to elite as well.
Yeah, so since we have the Road to Elite this year where they're doing the whole, like, you guys have seen the stackable trophy video and all that kind of stuff, it makes sense. And it makes sense to track these types of activities because in the long run, like you guys probably saw in my post yesterday in the group, if we're not building a team and if we're not building working coaches, we're not really building a business, right? And that's something that that Natalie and I, and even Chris and I have been talking a lot about recently. So you guys have already filled it out. You already have it ready. You filled it out to the best of your ability, but you can see where there's different categories in it, right? There's your own success club, how many coaches you have hitting success club, whether or not you've rank advanced anybody this week, right? Or this month, like emeralds, diamonds, whatever. And then it also talks a little bit about volume. So the purpose of this call really, I think, is just to kind of go around the horn, sort of like a rapid fire coaching session with each of you and say, okay, like if you can ask one question, or if you're asking the group for some piece of advice regarding your business, right? When it comes to one of these areas or with your downline placement or whatever, what is it? And we're going to do our best at opening it up. Everybody's welcome to chime in and say, hey, I want to take this one. But we want to make sure that we offer sort of one-on-one mentorship in this group setting, because I have a feeling that somebody else's issue might also be something you're struggling with too. Does that make sense? So that's the idea. So I'll just open it up and say, does anybody want to start by saying, hey, this is sort of the thing I want to talk about for my personal business this week or this month? And you don't have to feel like, don't feel shy because everybody's going to go. Laura?
I'll go.
I knew it.
Big surprise.
I knew it'd be Laura or Katie. Yeah, go for it.
So do we talk about our tracker at all, or just what we want to have?
You can just give us a quick highlight, or you can just dive right into your question. Either way is cool.
I have hit Success Club for the month. So right now my focus is mainly to continue to get people prepped to sign in February. So I'm kind of working on that. And then also my biggest thing that I need help with is my 20%. I think I'm starting to get a handle on my 80% of my business, but the 20% with my coaches, and kind of how to start building my team and leading them properly in that 20%, so that I'm not like taking away from my business, but I'm also utilizing that 20% of my time with my coaches. So.
Mm-hmm. Cool, perfect. I think that's a great topic to start with. So I'll just start by saying, and obviously Laura and I talk too. So I don't want to be your only source of inspiration here. Hopefully somebody else will chime in with their thoughts too. But for me personally, I was just talking to Katie's coaches today and Katie earlier about this. Like the way I structure my month is the first 10 days of the month, I'm focused on my own personal success club. So like 99% of my time, right? I still do my team call. I still am doing things for the team. I'm answering questions. I'm touching base with them. But the dominant portion of my time and energy is focused on my own personal success club. Because in my opinion, I just want to hit it and knock it out and be done. Like I don't want to have to stress out about it later in the month. Doesn't always work out that way, right? Sometimes we're down to the wire with trying to make it happen, but that's just my goal each month, is to focus that way. the center of my month is focused on recruiting. So adding new people to my team. The middle of the month is focused on, okay, my posts reflect recruitment style posts, talking about my business, sharing more about what I do as a coach, inviting people to join me, that kind of thing. And then the last week of the month is where I make myself more available for mentoring and leading my team. So the first thing that came to mind when you asked this was when Natalie and I attended the Josh Coates thing a couple weeks ago. He talked about how the first thing we do when it comes to our team is we model the activities. Before we mentor, we model the activities. And so what I hear you saying is, okay, I've got the modeling down. Now how do I go to step 2 and how do I mentor my team? And I think one of the things that he brought up that was a crucial thing, even for me to hear too, after being in the business for so long, was that there's a difference between mentoring and motivating. He said, you're going to, he's like, has anybody ever done a live stream in their team page and they see where 40 people have viewed it, but nobody's liked it? He's like, and you get so mad because you're like, I poured my soul into that, right? He's like, the key there is that you're just motivating people. Those aren't the people that you're mentoring, right? So really there's only usually a small percentage of people that we're mentoring. I like what Katie's been doing. She's been doing a weekly call with her working coaches. So that's something that you could do. You could just offer a group time slot for your working coaches just once a week. That's an hour or even 30 minutes where you're touching base with those working coaches. That would be a mentoring activity. Or if you prefer one-on-one call, that's something that you could offer too. But my recommendation would be to place that later in your month, model the behaviors, and then the last part of the month can be sort of your mentoring focus. Does anybody else want to chime in, or Natalie? Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Are you talking specifically, like Jenny kind of did recruiting, and then she also talked about mentoring, like the coaches she has on her team. Are you talking more just about how can you help the actual coaches you have, or adding new coaches to your team? That focus.
Helping the coaches that I currently have.
Okay. I like Jenny, my response was going to be the same as hers with motivating versus mentoring. And my awakening at Super Weekend was I was trying to teach or treat every coach on my team the same. Like I almost thought like I needed to get every single person on board, everyone part of an initiative we were doing, rally the troops. And no one was rallying because there were only certain people that were at the point, and many are, on this call are going to catch the recording. Those leaders, those are the people that I felt like I needed to be spending more one-on-one time with. But instead, I was not letting go of some of the people who are like, I'm good. It was like I was trying to convince them, and we talked about this before, that this was for them. Somebody also reached out to me today about recognition. Like, how do you motivate your team with recognition? And I think that I need to do a better job of taking an inventory of what my team needs from me. Like, how do they want to be recognized? Because Thursdays are my days. It's a day of gratitude, and it's the day that I might send cards out to a challenger or a team member or a coach. It's when I recognize anything that's neat and moving and shaking on our team. I make Thursday a day of showering love on my team. And that also gave me kind of a sense of peace. I used to think I needed to stop what I was doing and go immediately acknowledge someone. Now that I pick a day or two, I'm like, okay, I'll just add that to my Thursday to-do list to make sure I shower that person.
I like that.
But I'm sharing more energy with the people who are putting skin in the game. And it doesn't mean I'm not still loving those other coaches, but I was wasting too much energy and getting my feelings hurt that they weren't even responding to messages I was sending. There are people that you guys have probably reached out to that it's been crickets, and you're like, but wait, like you told me you wanted to go all the way to Diamond this year. I can't let you go.
My language.
Yes. And then I'm like, they let you go, Natalie, like 6 months ago, and it's not you. Like, do your personal growth and move on. Like, I need the turnaround time to be quicker. So hopefully that helps maybe a little
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Next up.
I can go.
Go for it.
When doing the qualification tracker, I realized that I am nowhere close to this. So I have a lot to work to do on building my team and getting my weak leg a lot stronger. My strong leg is great. If I got my weak leg doing Transform 20 with me, it would definitely help my goals of making this a business. So I've realized that it was kind of a slap in the face today that I'm not really making this a business. It's more of a hobby because I'm not doing the business building behaviors amazing yet. Regarding the tracker, I did a really good job of keeping track of everything. And I like the fact that the tracker has the names on the back because now I don't have 50 pieces of paper all over the house with my different names I've contacted. So it's quick and easy to follow up with people and to know what I've talked about with them. So I'm not having to peruse their feeds. So it's definitely kept me more organized and on track regarding that. I guess my question for everybody would be how to build, I know I had to get the challengers in, but how to get the people wanting to, how do you inspire or want those people to become coaches, I guess?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have a couple things to say on this, and I'll try to be as quick as I can. The first thing that comes to mind is, because like exactly what you're describing, I've been at that point in my business, right? So I've been at that point in my business where I was like making the shift in my mind that like, wait a minute, I'm building something pretty cool here. Like, it's not like I'm doing nothing. Like I mean, you're almost diamond, Sarah. You're like an inch from diamond. So you're not like totally wasting your time in what you're doing. So I don't want you to think that. But there is a mindset shift that has to happen where you're like, something needs to happen in order for me to see greater momentum, greater income, greater, leader, like my own self becoming a better leader. Like something has to shift here. And so the awareness, as you know, is always the first thing. So that's totally commendable. But when it comes to like, I'm assuming that everybody that's on this call is wanting to build a business for multiple reasons, but one primary reason being income. And this is something that Chris and I were actually we've talked a lot about in the last week. But we were talking tonight specifically because I knew this topic would come up. And I said, what's the bottom line? Like if someone asks this question regarding, how do I make this shift in my business? How do I start to build a true team with working coaches, right? Like, how does that happen? He's like, the first thing you have to do is explain that, number one, the quality as far as your business goes, the value of a working coach, you could say, is like 5 times greater than the value of a discount coach. That doesn't mean that you don't need discount coaches in your business, right? Like I have discount coaches. They help me stay in the rank that I'm at, right? Like they help keep me from dropping. But when it comes to building my business bigger and growing my income, I have to have working coaches, right? So the example being, we figured in our head, for one discount coach, so somebody that's just on Shakeology, but they don't work the business, right? You don't even cycle one full time for the amount of volume that they're bringing in. So if you're an Emerald coach, you're not even making $14 on that discount coach. If that coach is hitting Success Club, if they're hitting success, like say they have 6 Success Club points, they're cycling so that you're making somewhere between like $30 to $40 for that coach just for the one time they hit Success Club. For example, that's just a very basic example. If that coach continues to hit Success Club, if they continue to hit it month in, month out consistently, that's a compound effect that happens, right? So that's $30 to $40 that becomes $60 to $80 that becomes $120 to, you see what I'm saying? Doubles and doubles and doubles and doubles. So the value of a working coach when it comes to your volume is crucial. So I realize what you're saying is, yeah, I kind of get that because I just filled out the tracker and you're not helping me figure out what to do. So my tip for you is, number one, what you are marketing is what you attract. So, and this is something that Natalie and I have spent a lot of personal time discussing recently. So if I'm constantly portraying my fun tribe and all the fun that we have together and my workouts and how we all do these workouts together, if that's like the constant brand that's being put out there, people are, you could say, living up to that expectation, right? They're coming on board and they're like, this rocks. I love being a discount coach. I love being part of this tribe. Like, I love doing this. I don't want to do any of the work though, right? And another thing that Josh Coates mentioned at his thing, which is fresh in my mind, that's probably why I'm thinking about it, is he talked about how, like, unfortunately, the startup cost for this business is the same price as a pair of Lululemon leggings, right? It's not a $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 commitment, just like opening a Chick-fil-A would be. So people aren't coming in with this skin in the game, right, to say, okay, I'm really going to build my business. So then what's the difference between somebody like a Bonnie Engel or Ashley Molstead? Like, why is their business exploding and they're maximizing the comp plan? And then there are coaches that are struggling to figure out how to build their team, right? Because we're both selling the same thing, right? At the end of the day, we're selling the same products. We have the same opportunity. The difference is in how they how they attract those people and the expectations that they set for them when they come on board. Okay, so that would be my question for you is, first of all, what's the brand that's being put out there for people to join your team? Are you showing the working Sarah, or are you showing the fun Sarah? And I'm not saying that you need to shut down fun Sarah, because we all want to see fun Sarah. But I'm saying that, you know, if you're wanting to attract those people who are go-getters, who are busy moms, who are just like you, who are just on the go nonstop, but they want something more in their life, that's who we have to speak to. We have to get into the minds of the people who have frustrations that we had before coaching. My number one frustration, I didn't have any recognition in my corporate job, and I craved it. And I didn't have a sense of fulfillment because I was working in book publishing and I didn't see how the DVD in the back of the book that I was creating was making a difference, right? But Beachbody offered me the opportunity to get the recognition by working hard, by working my butt off, and to make a difference in the lives of people, which I wasn't getting in my day job. So when I recruit, like, that's the mind I need to be in. I need to attract me before I found Beachbody. Does that make sense? So it's in how you attract those people, and it's in the expectations you set when they come on board. If we're constantly talking to people about a discount opportunity and a way to save on their shakes, that's what we're going to get, is a team of 40 people who are just discount on their shakes and we're making like $300 a month, right? But if we want income, we've got to set those expectations higher. So Natalie, what would you say?
I was taking some notes. Sarah, I did a really big inventory on 2018, and I looked back at all the coaches I added, and the majority were VIP coaches. And I talked to Jenny, and she just simply asked me one question that really helped me. Simple. She said, what language are you using, like, when you're talking to people? And I know I shared this a little bit. I was kind of giving people permission to not really go all in the business. Like, I was kind of trying to buffer it so I didn't come off as too much or too businessy or too salesy. And my other thing that I realized was, and I wrote this down while you guys were talking, what if we ran our business activity tracker? Okay, so think about this for a second. What if we ran our Success Club tracker and our bats as if we were only trying to attract coaches in our tribe? Because what I have done and created as a habit is attracting customers. I love sharing recipes. You know, like, if you go to my page today, the first part is motivation. Then it's what I bought as healthy snacks for Mara's lunchbox. But none of that's all free value. And none of that is drawing people in to think of Natalie, the entrepreneur. And I kind of shared this on the training I did, the time management training. Nothing was saying I'm building a business. I have a tribe. So I went back and I looked at some of my language on social media, and I'm not portraying myself enough as a coach that's leading other coaches, but I'm great at sharing transformation stories, motivation, recipes. That's Success Club. That is the formula for Success Club if you're just selling challenge packs. That is not the formula for attracting coaches. So I literally just said, why not do the same activities, social media, drop in a couple stories. So normally if you would have looked at my Instagram story a month ago, it was all about the journey, nothing about what I was really doing and feeling as a coach. So like once a day I've been going on my Instagram story and doing just a couple clips, not like 400, but like just a couple clips about common questions that people ask me about coaching. Because I believe that a lot of the people that are watching us right now, it's not, maybe our message is not for everyone, but there's someone that's paying attention to us right now that we could attract better if we started changing our language up. And I also got some really great advice. I work with Coit Cooper, who I've shared that with you guys before. He gave me really good advice when I was a full-time teacher. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to achieve big things. Like, I want to grow my income. I want to retire from teaching. And he was like, okay, slow down there, lady. Like, that's great. But like, why don't you just think about tweaking little things? He's like, why does everything have to be like this big, huge thinking process before we can make an action step? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start dropping a couple more posts about coaching, my tribe, some of the cool things we do. And I just started tweaking. And actually, when I did that, that was actually the year that I achieved 2-star and went to the national leadership conference that year. When I think about it, it was because I was talking more about the coaching piece. And then I fell off because I don't know. I guess I kind of thought the people I had on my team at the time were going to be the people that were taking me to the next level. And a lot of those people did not continue on. And so I kind of feel like many of you, I'm like rebuilding and seeking just, it's a forgivable business. Just start where we are and maybe tweak some of our language. And I'm talking too much. I'm sorry. Hopefully that helps a little bit, Sarah.
Yeah. So, and I know I can almost envision what Sarah would ask next. And it's, so maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just going to say this and I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume, but types of things you can talk about when it comes to coaching is your, how you work your business currently. Are you sitting in your car at lunch hour, Jackie Suter, and talking to people from your car? Like, not that be a little bit cautious, right? Because people don't want to have something that looks busy necessarily, right? So like, maybe that's not the best example, but how are you working your business, right? Like, are you sitting down to a dedicated power hour? Are you drinking a glass of wine while you rock something out? Are you talking to your challengers? Like, when you are working, what are you doing? Right? Like, I posted today something about coaching, and I said something about like, today, this is what my day looks like. I'm taking my daughter to Gymboree. When she goes down for a nap, I'm going to check in with my virtual gym members. Like, I'm giving people sort of these glimpses into what it is I'm doing. So what does working Sarah look like is the first thing you could talk about. Also, what is working Sarah working for? People are just as motivated by your why because it gives them inspiration to have their own and to have something to work for themselves, right? So what is your vision? And a lot of you I know have said to me recently, how do I recruit people when I don't really feel confident as a leader or when I don't really have a big team? Like, I don't have the credibility to go out there and be like, hey, you should join my team. It's awesome. When really I'm looking for like the first person to work their business, right? Like, that's kind of what you're thinking. And so we've all been there, like, right. Ashley Molstead has been there. And so at some point you have to make the decision that like, you're going to kind of walk the walk and talk the talk before you, whatever that phrase is. So I think that what's important is to say my vision is what matters the most. And I have to be communicating my vision with this business in addition to what my business looks like in order for people to be interested. Does that help?
I love that, Jenny.
It's been something that I've been reflecting on recently too, because my personal brand has shifted a lot, right? Like, I went from like gym owner, very like, I'm still kind of like brutally honest, to the point, like bullet points type girl. But as a mom, my brand has shifted a little bit, and the people that I'm attracting are now a little bit more like me than before, right? They were still like me before, but I was attracting different people. So now I've had to kind of tweak my language and really think about like talking to the me that was before Beachbody, talking to people who might be similar to me. And those are just some basic tips. So hopefully that's helpful. Okay, who's next? Rose? She's raising her hand, and she is a school teacher. So
my question builds off of Sarah's. So when do I ask about the coaching opportunity? So for example, I had an individual interested in joining the Transform 20 group. Do I ask them then about being a coach? Do I bring them in as a challenger and ask them to be a coach later? I always feel that I don't know when the right time is to, grab them and invite them in. So suggestions would be helpful.
Well, I'll tell you that myself included, most coaches that I've seen conversations of happening, and myself included, don't ask soon enough. So we tend to err on the side of caution versus erring on the side of, I think I've used this phrase before with our team, versus assuming they're interested, we assume they're disinterested. And that's doing them a disservice and us a disservice too. So most likely we're waiting too long to ask, but the way I treat it, I won't say that I never ask anybody, because there are times where usually my ask is like, hey, are you ready to shit or get off the pot? Like that's usually my ask. Now, why do I have to use that sort of language, or why do I have to go with that sort of approach? Because I've planted enough seeds that I've assumed, you know what I mean? Like I've planted enough seeds that like, if they haven't come forward yet, then it's kind of like, dang, Gina, are we doing this or are we not doing this? So I think, and that might make you feel more comfortable too, is to plant those seeds like more earlier on in the conversation. So Laura, are you going to say something? Okay. You guys can just interrupt us. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. Jenny and I kind of talked about one of my coaches, Margaret. This girl is like obsessed with Shaun T, like to the point where she was ready to buy a summit ticket to go work out with Shaun T. Okay. So never mentioned, I've been trying to get her to buy a challenge pack for over a year. She finally bought Beachbody On Demand, and she literally bought the challenge pack because it was a Shaun T program. And then she fell in love with Performance Line. So I could have just been like, okay, whatever, whenever you want to. But she went to her first live event, which I encouraged her to go to because I'm like, okay, Summit is great. But if you want to go work out with Shaun T, he's going to be in Chicago. Why don't you go to your first live event? Plus, I wanted to get her like in the group setting with other coaches, live setting, and get the feel of everything. She came out of that thing buzzing. If I didn't jump on that right then and there and talk to her and say, this is what it's all about, this is the community, and talk to her about it right then, I could have completely been lost on the coaching opportunity. But I had been kind of gradually talking to her about it over time, and now she's excited about it. And we talk about it now comfortably because I've been talking to her about it for like over a year. But yeah, so that's, I think if you wait too long, like Jenny was saying, if you wait too long on it, it just kind of is an afterthought and it's more uncomfortable if you haven't planted the seeds initially.
Yeah.
Well,
So
the girl that reached out to me, we hadn't been in conversation. And so she messaged me and asked to join the challenge group. So I did offer her to be a coach, but, as we kind of said earlier, it was more, the language wasn't correct and I was leaning more towards that discount opportunity. And so that's usually the situation, is when they reach out to me, we haven't been talking. I don't know if I sign them up with the challenge pack and ask to be a coach, or I wait, a month or two to see if.
Right. Here's my best advice, and I'm going to give this advice in the form of an analogy. Everybody's been most likely on some form of first date. Mm-hmm. And when you're on a first date, you have a feeling as to whether or not you're going to go for the kiss at the end of the night, or he is, and you're going to accept it or not. Like, you have that feeling based on whether or not you jive with that person or not. Right. So if this is somebody that you felt like could be a great coach, or, whatever, or they're they seem interested or they're highly interested in the challenge group or whatever the case is, if you kind of feel that electricity between you, pun intended, then that's when you say like, girl, I'm not going to lie, right? Like, I feel like so I say this so much. I feel like I'd be doing you a disservice to not let you know that there's a coach opportunity attached to this. And if you would like more information on that, I'd love to let you know how you can maybe join my challenge group and share your journey with other people and pay it forward if this is sort of your jam. If not, that's cool too. But I just want to make sure that I offer that to you right off the bat, right? So doing it in that sort of casual way. If she says like, oh, no, thanks, I'm just going to stick to the challenge group for now. Okay, right? But you've planted that seed. The primary thing that I usually say to people is, and this is just, I'm sarcastic in nature. So usually when people are like, yes, I'm on board, I'm like, great, okay, perfect. I'm like, I'm going to generate your order for just a customer account. If you'd like more details on getting you enrolled in a coach account to where you could potentially pay this forward once you start seeing the results that you're inevitably going to see, I'm happy to chat with you about that, right? So I kind of take the approach of like, I'm going to go ahead and send your order. This is the way I'm going to do it, right? Would you like to, basically, is that okay? Or would you like to have a further conversation about how we can talk about coaching or joining my team? Or I'll literally just say like, okay, sounds great. I can't wait for you to join my team. And eventually I have a feeling I'll be welcoming you to my team because you're going to love this so much that you want to pay it forward. So I'm sort of planting those seeds to them early on, but I'm basing my ask off of the vibe that I have from them, kind of like a first date. If you don't know them very well and they're just interested in your challenge group, you can plant the seed and ask. It's not going to hurt anything. And that way it's been planted, but you can also just kind of wait and feel it out too if you're not super certain about the relationship. Katie, I think you were going to say something. I didn't mean to like talk over you.
I used to always just say, great, should I sign you up with a coach account or customer account? And then they'd be like, coach account. I'm like, oh, it's an opportunity to earn your cost back and help other people. So but the thing is now I've been trying to work the system because now I just sign people up as a customer, and then so I can sell them Shakeology, and then when I want to invite them to coaching, I tell them about Performance Line. So I don't know if this is a great plan.
Not a bad thing. No, that's not a bad thing necessarily. I mean, I think that the key really is in knowing in the back of your mind that you're most likely holding back more than you should be. Does that make sense? And then if you feel like it's just going to be weird and you like, if you're like sitting on your computer and you like keep typing over and over, like how you're going to ask them, it's maybe not the right time. Does that make sense? But like, if you're like, gosh, I just feel a connection here, just tell them that. Like, I feel this awesome connection. I'm super excited to have you in my challenge group. I'm always this is a cool phrase that you guys can write down to use. This is my new favorite because you guys have anybody, I know my team has started reading Tribe Called Bliss, but if you haven't started reading this yet, oh, it's awesome. But I love the concept of just saying, quote, I'm always looking for awesome women to join my tribe. Literally, that's it. That's a seed plant. Right? Because later you can be like, you're an awesome woman. Have you ever thought about joining my tribe? Right? Like you've planted the seed. It makes sense later for you to just go for the ask if you haven't already. Okay, cool. Who's next?
I'll go.
Go for it.
Thanks for everything, everybody. I'm writing down a ton of notes. And
I like that thing.
What?
I like your headband.
Thanks. It was a gift.
Is it French fries?
It's French fries.
Yeah, I love French fries.
I know, and I guess just to say it out loud, I'm like, how much we hold ourselves back is so crazy. Like for me, I don't have to have the income from Beachbody because we get by fine. And so it's never been pressing that I build a business, even though I've always kind of sort of wanted to. But to actually have to put the check marks in the boxes and and treat it like a business instead of like a hobby, like Sarah was saying. I've just had a lot of revelations this past week. And so I don't particularly have questions because I was going to ask Coach posting questions, but those have been answered. I guess the one thing though that I continue to struggle with, and Jenny, you kind of touched on it, was how do I, and Melanie Mitro has talked about this on her podcast before a little bit, but making my coach opportunity posts and stories stand out when I really I'm earning money, but I'm not, like rolling in the dough, paying for vacations. So I'm like, I feel fake if I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so awesome. And it's provided this and this and this. So how can I authentically share the business opportunity when I'm really not successful in the business?
So I'm going to let Natalie answer this, but I want to say this real quick. Sorry, Natalie. If you didn't come in the business because you wanted to earn the income, what brought you in?
Well, I love Shakeology, and I paid full price for it for 4 months. And my coach, Jenny Swisher, never left me. She stayed right there. And then I was like, oh, I can help 3 people a month and that pays for it. Sweet.
Mm-hmm. So you wanted coverage on your costs, and what have you gained from becoming a coach? So if not income, what else have you gained? That's what you need to be talking about. Okay. So I have found so if my coach, first of all, my coach was my neighbor and she quit the business. So let's not even use that as an example. But my original coach, had she not told me about the coach opportunity, right? Like, I don't even know where I would be at this point, but I didn't come in at all for the income.
Right.
0. Like, I was working a corporate job. I was totally content, wasn't looking for side income. I wanted to pay for my product, get healthier myself. And as soon as I got in and I realized all these things about personal development and personal development opportunities, and I started meeting other people that were a lot like me, and I found my tribe, that's when I was like, I'm never leaving. That's what made me commit.
Yeah.
So I think instead of thinking about what you're lacking and thinking, well, how can I invite people to something I don't have, invite people to what you do have.
Duh.
No, don't say duh. No, it totally makes sense because trust me, I understand. Like, yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, I know that most of the people on this call that you guys are looking for an income increase, right? Like, you're wanting to make this business work and you're like, well, how do I invite somebody to this business if I'm not making any money? How do I make that? Trust me, you don't want the coaches who want to make money. I had a girl go diamond within Cindy went diamond in 8 weeks or something, 7 weeks. And all she could talk about was the money, 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 money. And guess what? She's not around anymore. So if you're the types of posts about paying for your vacation or paying for whatever, your groceries or whatever, are great, but that is 1% of the game. So don't get hung up on that. So go ahead, Natalie. Sorry to interrupt. I'm on a roll today.
I'm vision mapping everything people are saying on the call tonight. And I'm on the flip side where earning an income from this business is what actually the opportunity that I saw to change my life was what drove me. And here's the thing, I still get paralyzed sharing that. I actually just did what I found to be a more brave coach post tonight before we got on here, because one of my friends was talking to me. She's an entrepreneur as well. We had lunch today and we were just sitting there talking. And I said, I don't know if I can share some of those pain points because I don't want the positivity of the business to be brought down by, but then again, I think of me as Natalie, who shared her health and fitness journey. Do you remember how scary it was for us to do our transformation picture because we were so self-conscious? And now we're social media doesn't hold that same power over us. And it's because we shared the vulnerable pieces. And I'm actually finishing up, and I know, Katie, I think I saw on your page that you're reading Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. is that right? Are you reading that one too? I think.
I finished it, yeah.
I think the things that I needed to realize was I wasn't actually naming and being vulnerable with enough parts of the coaching business that would attract people who might share my story. So Tara, I don't think the way that you're sharing your story needs to be income focused. But if there's something really cool, like the Success Club trip or even a Success Club prize, like I'm wearing my swag because I helped 3 people in my side business last month, or just something where if you want to bring income in that's authentic to you, great. I am not comfortable. And there was a national wake up call, and I promise I won't digress too much, where she said, if we're only showing the like, look at me on the beach, look at me with my, also then people think they're coming into the business and they're getting a new house in 6 months, which is not realistic. So my goal, and Jenny and I chatted this week, I'm going to share some conversation things, like pieces that I've used in trainings to help people invite, follow up, talk about the coaching opportunity. But I would even love to know what you guys are doing. How are you breadcrumbing the business? You know what we don't need to give our whole entire life story in 9 paragraphs about coaching, which is what I have a tendency to do. Why can't I drop like tomorrow's payday? So you're getting paid once a week, Tara, which for most teachers who are on like a fixed income, that's huge. So even if you just took your kids out for an ice cream date and a movie date or something like that, and you're like, this was so cool because I was able to use, income from that. It doesn't have to be this huge piece, but there's someone right now that's not able to do some things with their family because of finances. Or there's someone who's paying off debt that maybe this could help them faster, even if they do have a full-time job. So I'm right there with you. And I wrote the word in quotations, potential. Share about the potential of what is possible with the opportunity. And I don't even think it's fake it before you make it. All of you that are on this call, if you are not at the income that you'd want to be at, and I'm not either, I'm not there yet. I'm not at a place where I feel like I would like to be. However, we all know the potential of what this business can do financially. So breadcrumbing those kind of cool things, whatever that looks like to you, is huge, I think. But my question would be, are we doing it at all? Like, are we addressing like the potential pieces at all? Or are we afraid to say it, like you said, because we don't feel like we have a story for it? And we don't want to become like an infomercial either, like she just bought like this, we don't want to, I feel like that becomes really salesy, but I don't know, Jenny, I'm rambling. I'm sorry, former history teacher.
Well, and the last thing I'll say, and then we'll move on, is just, why can't you create a story? Why can't you say, I don't know, like my daughter is really into ballet or whatever, which I know your daughter isn't, but and she's needing a pair of $300 ballet shoes or $200 ballet shoe. I don't know what do they cost. I hope I never know. Just to be really honest, basketball shoes are like $150. So let's just say that. So my daughter really needs a pair of $150 basketball shoes, right? And you share this on your social and you say, thanks to my side income, I now have a goal to work for. So in the month of January or February or whatever, I'm going to help 3 to 5 women start their health and fitness journey, and it's going to help pay for Marley's shoes. And then what happens when you make that happen, right? Then you share it. Here's the shoes I just bought for Marley. Was able to do that because of my side hustle, right? So you can create the story too. If you don't have a story, you can create one, and you can bring people along on that journey on your social, even if it's something like ice cream in a movie or a pair of shoes. Okay, who's up next? Oh yeah.
I want to ask about what you were just saying. I had a coach who asked, wouldn't people think we're using them if we make a post like that. Like if I post, I'm helping 3 to 5 women and it's going to help pay for these shoes. Won't people feel like, well, you're using me or something? I don't know. That was her question, which I was like, I am the same as Natalie, where I said, no, the income opportunity attracted me to actually do the business, and it gave me hope. But she said when she would see It Works people posting about their money, it just turned her off. So
my answer to this would be really simple, and it would be, if you're sharing the testimonials of of people you're helping, you're providing social proof that you do in fact help people, right? Like, you know that you help people. So unless it's just living in your head that you don't, and that you just sell to people, which I know it doesn't, that's not what's actually in your head. But if someone else is asking you that question, it could be that they don't have the proof that they need to know that you're actually helping people change their life. So make that also part of your story.
I actually think, Jenny, that's a really good point. One of my friends, again, the person that I met with for lunch today, her friend works in Rodan and Fields, and she's like, Natalie, how come you don't do more like lifestyle stuff? You know, or how come she just asked me, how come you don't drop, like, I helped so many people last month, like a celebration. And I said, I don't know. I said the lifestyle piece. I said, I think if we were sharing all along the way, like Jenny said, where if we shared a goal of something we were trying to do or save up for something, or a vacation, and then it's like you on a vacation that you save for in the summer that you did with your family, it's fine. But I think when it's just, when you're popping things in, but there's no regular post from you about goal building, then it just seems like it's a billboard thing. Yeah. So maybe we need to kind of again, breadcrumb those things in more regularly, just like we would a workout testimonial or something else. We need to do like little business testimonials. I don't know, Jenny, I
think what you're saying is that the people following you have to have emotional buy-in.
Yeah.
So they have to have that social proof that you are in fact changing lives, right? To know that you're changing lives, and therefore you're changing your own life, and they need to see both sides of that. If you're just showing them, this is how my life is better, and you're not showing them how you're serving other people, making their life better in order for that to happen, then it's this sort of one-sided window. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can I say one more quick thing? I've been listening a lot to Fresh Life Church podcast with Levi Lusko. It's a really good one. And I like to call it, I think I was just supposed to hear it. And he's talking, and I don't know if this applies to any of you, but there's nothing wrong with wanting yourself to be successful and have money for things. Like, if you're going to work hard, there's nothing wrong with you enjoying extra things in life. And I thought, you know what, daggone it, there's not. If I work this and I can pay for something extra, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to just get by to get by.
Yep.
Anyway.
And you don't ask that about any other business, right? Like, do you go ask your doctor, like, are you in this just to help me or for the money? Like, come on, guys. Like, this is a business. It's a business of helping people, but it's still a business. And we're trying to earn income as well. It's the same for personal training. Like,
right.
Same thing.
That's a great point. Okay, let's see. Who we got left? Jackie's left. Katie, Jennifer, Nicole. I know some of your coaches, Natalie. So who's up next? Hopefully this is valuable, guys. And if you have to hop off, that's cool. But we want to make sure we take the time to talk to everybody.
I can go. Really, a lot of what I was going to ask has been asked, so it has been very helpful. I think I brought this up multiple times, and I feel like maybe I'm working my way to the answer, which is obvious anyway, but I just seem to ebb and flow with like, oh my gosh, I have 10 people I want to invite today. Awesome. And then I sit down the next day and I'm like, I already talked to everybody. They're all leaving me crickets. I got nobody else to invite. And then that's a total momentum crusher. So I feel like this month, I'm pissed because I'm at myself, because I'm sitting at Success Club 0, but I feel like I'm doing all the right things. I just wish I had done them last month so that I would have more people to follow up with. So I think I've been really prioritizing connecting with 5 to 10 people a day so that I'm building those relationships and having those conversations and inviting 3 to 5 people a day. But getting some crickets there and some I'm having good conversations with people. I have a few who, as soon as kind of the price comes out and we talk about that, they go silent. But more so just kind of continuing to have that funnel of people to invite I guess my focus has been challengers this month because I haven't hit Success Club. Yeah.
Okay. Are you posting consistent calls to action?
I just counted them, and not this week. No, I only had 2 or 3.
Okay. So calls to action, and are you talking about the business opportunity? Are you doing calls to action on the business opportunity?
I feel like I have started doing that better. I don't know that I had a specific call to action to coaching this week, but I had more posts this week than in the past where I'm sharing about what I do as a coach. But it was not, I was just scrolling back through and it was not a call to action. I also think, looking at them, my call to action posts, the only likes and comments I'm getting are from other coaches or my current customers. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or can tweak something, but I'm not getting a lot of new traffic on those posts.
Okay. So I know when you and Jennifer and I had that phone call last week, we talked about like diving deeper in your content, I guess you could say, and in your connections. So like, rather than worry about we all need to be bringing people in on a consistent basis, but rather than worry about new people constantly coming in, how can we deepen the connections that we already have with our warm market, right? So, and then also kind of like going a layer deeper with your posts, which I've seen posts recently with you and Derek and the whole yoga thing. I love the stuff you've gone deeper with recently for sure. So I guess my I don't really have like, super words of wisdom aside from just sometimes we get sort of, I can speak from my own experience, we get in this rut of inviting the same way, whether it's through Messenger or public invite. And it takes us getting to the end of a month at Success Club 0, myself included, right? I've had those months before where you have to realize like, okay, obviously what I'm doing isn't working. So let's just say that I'm doing everything I need to be doing, but there's most likely like just some small tweak or some small thing that's just not connecting with people, right? So maybe it's that people have been seeing my invitation to a challenge group now for 11 months straight, and I'm always looking for 3 to 5 people to join, and I've got my 3 spots left, and they're going to get free meal plans, and they're going to get this and that, and that people have heard that same invitation now multiple times, right? Which is at the point where we, like I said, we get to the end of the month, we're at 0 points, and we're like, what the hell? I'm doing everything right. I'm doing the things that I've done before, and I've hit Success Club. Like, why isn't this working? My best advice would be try something different, right? Like change up your language entirely. Like maybe it's, we've all had those amazing posts. What was the girl's name? We shared her before and after for 80 Day Obsession.
Bethany, I think.
Yeah. And everybody went nuts. Share her picture again.
Right.
Or make, the 2B mindset invitation. Like sometimes I'll pull that out of my back pocket. The whole, like, you don't have to exercise. Let's look at your nutrition. And all of a sudden people will be like, yeah, I want to do that. Right. So, change up. Like my guess is maybe you're kind of like your wheel in your head is turning the same way. And so your invitation posts and your messages are all like kind of repeating themselves. If that's not connecting, change it up entirely.
Natalie, what would you say? Or anybody else?
I'll interject real quick because Jackie, I follow you on social, but I would not be able to tell what your profession is. Like, I actually honestly don't know what you do, except I know that it's busy and then you only have 15 minutes free before and after work. But I would be more interested in learning more about who you are, because like I see that you're like positive and you're fun and you work out, and you have kids. That's like literally all I know about you. And like we know each other, but I would like to know more about who you are and what else, like that color wheel thing, like what else makes you Jackie besides your workout.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's why I've been loving the Derek posts lately, because I'm like, oh, I get to see like into another part of her life that I haven't seen. You know what I mean? I like that. It's great advice.
Any time I get in a social media rut, Jackie, like where you were saying you feel like your audience engagement is low, I think a lot of that also has to do with the algorithms on Facebook. And it's very weird. So anytime that I feel like mine is getting a little echoing, I pop in a post that's going to be super engaging to kind of reboost my page. And that could include just a funny story of like one of my kids or something. It's usually humorous. There's usually something going on about how my laundry is still sitting in like the washer for 3 days straight, but
The pot roast.
finish it.
The pot roast. The lady blocked you out for the pot roast. I loved it.
Yeah, like I was in Kroger and the blizzard of that didn't happen in Indiana of 2019. The lady was blocking me out of the meat section and wouldn't let me pick out my pot roast until it was done. And I had like 48 comments. So I call it like a social media shakeup. Whenever you feel like you're getting too monotonous in posts where they're not getting attention, I drop something else from my color wheel, like something different to shake it up. And I'm sorry, I don't know where the feedback is coming from. It's like echoing. Oh, I like that. Katie, you said maybe having people take a look at, maybe do an exercise where you have people go to someone else's page and give some feedback. I love that. I don't know why my thing is making me crazy. Hold on.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Something else that I think that we could do is, and I'm guilty of this all the time, like I see everybody's posts and I like them, but comments are better for the algorithm. So I think that instead of just liking everybody's post that we see, is to just drop a comment to help boost that post as opposed to just liking it. Because I do have other like friends that like It Works. I have a friend who's an It Works person, and she'll be like sending out free samples or whatever, and like the first 5 or 10 people that comment on that are other distributors. I like went through and like stalked one time because I was like, how is she getting so much interest? Like, and I just think the comments would probably help.
Rodan and Phil says the same thing.
Yeah,
they have like pods.
Yeah, I have some near friends that do that.
There are some Beachbody people that do it every week. They have Amber Kuiper. She was like top 20 in the network this year. She and her team and Kelsey Shackley, they do what they call lead generator night. And I think it's like Monday night, everybody on the team makes an invitation post, and then everybody on the team is expected to go to everybody else on the team's page and comment and like it, just to boost it in the feed. So.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
But I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead because I'm here. But mine was pretty similar to everyone else's. Like, I'm not the leader yet. I'm just, starting my team, starting to build a team, and how to portray that, how to share that. So that was really a struggle for me, and I think that, we've talked enough about it, but.
Yeah. Okay. How are you with working coaches right now? Do you have coaches hitting any Success Club points on the board, or where is that?
I do not, but I do a weekly call with two of them that are trying to work the business.
Okay. So focus number one for you and your business is recruiting, right? Like hitting Success Club and then recruiting new blood because we've got to get you into that leader role. Yeah.
Yes.
Are you guys hearing echo for me? Oh,
You
no.
were doing just like Mrs. Roboto,
Oh no. Is it still that way?
but I'm echoing, so.
I don't.
No, you're better.
Is it me too? Is it echoing?
Fine.
You know what sucks about being robotic is you don't know it. So you're just living in the moment.
You're normal now. No more fun.
I would love to hear from some of my coaches that are still on. I know some people hopped off, but like Kara, you always have such great questions, and Maggie, you too. I know that Lori and Tammy just got off the call. Do you guys have anything like, Kara, I think you'll have to unmute yourself.
So here's what I'll add. Most of the questions were answered based on what you guys already said, but I think for me, the main block of time that I get is on Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays. So then as soon as Monday starts, like literally Monday through Friday, I have in my head these ideas, or in my planner these things that I want to do throughout the week. But inevitably what ends up happening is about halfway through, I somehow lose this focus of where I'm headed, because I'm in a, just move mode, and I'm not thinking. So then it just kind of feels like the wheels are coming off a little bit, and I'm just like, what am I even doing? You know what I mean? And I'm an organized person, and I think I generally manage my time well, but I think it's just like the craziness of the week catches up with me, and I'm like, what actually happened this week? I don't even know if that's a question per se, but yeah. And I guess that going along with the posting, when it comes down to it, I think somebody else said it was eye-opening just to see all the boxes that you are or are not checking off. And I'm seeing that for myself, and I'm noticing there are certainly days where some of those just do not happen. Like, it is a struggle to get one post up a day, like, because my entire day is literally down to the minute of moving to the next thing. And so as I'm talking this out loud, as I often do, it makes me realize that maybe I just need to create more margins elsewhere, so that there is a little bit of time to think about, okay, well, take a step back, and what can I actually accomplish in 10 minutes?
Yeah. Jenny, do you have any feedback when you started? Were you growing your business when you were working your other corporate job as well back in the day?
Yeah, I was. Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear advice that you guys have also for Kara, because we chat, she and I chat all the time, but I would love to hear maybe how pockets worked for you guys.
And I'll add real quick, like, my day, like, just to add to it, my day isn't, I guess technically it's an 8-hour day, but it's never just an 8-hour day. It's like, sometimes something will happen and I'm doing work until whatever in my full-time job until X hour. Not consistently, not all the time, but it derails plans sometimes, I guess, and that's kind of where I find myself needing to adjust.
Right. I mean, my best advice, this is something that I just live streamed on our team page today, so it's kind of basic advice, but hopefully it's helpful. I told my team today on a live stream that, like, I don't do Instagram at all. I don't think I've made a post on Instagram in over a month. I don't do Instagram stories. I think I've done 2 days worth of Facebook stories since Christmas. I'm not endorsing, not doing those things or whatever. Like, I know that they can be very important for your business and branding and reaching out to people, but yet I have like 87 months in Success Club, like something crazy. And so, my husband and I had this conversation recently where he's like, why are you able to continue hitting Success Club, but yet your coaches or other coaches are so inconsistent? And I'm like, I think too many coaches are hung up on the filling their to-do list and their power hour and everything with the pretty things, like filling their Instagram stories and putting cool little, I don't even know how you guys do the thing where you like Katie was talking about hiding hashtags on her Instagram today. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. So, and I think that's I wish I knew what that means. Like, it's an initiative for me to learn more about Instagram and do more with Instagram, but it's not my priority. Does that make sense? So my priority is always going to be Success Club. It's always going to be making sure my business is building and moving forward. And so if that's my number one priority, there are 3 activities that have to happen on a daily basis that align with that. Number one, more important than anything else, 80% of the game is in connecting with people. So if at the end of the day, you did nothing else for your business besides your workout, drink your shake, and connected with 3 to 5 people, you are moving forward, right? So connecting with people is number one. But usually that gets pushed to the last thing people do. That's usually the last task that they leave to the end. That's number one. Number 2 is branding yourself, proof the products work, making sure people know that you're a health and fitness resource, which most of us are already doing. And then number 3 is making sure that you're making calls to action posts, whether it's in your stories or it's your public posts or whatever. If you're not actually asking somebody on the date, you're just flirting, they don't know you're interested. And they don't know that they can be interested in you. Does that make sense? So the calls to action, like today, talking to Katie's coaches earlier today, I quickly took a look at both of their Facebook pages. The last time either one of them made a social media call to action post was like December 23rd. And yet they're like, oh, I'm feeling a little stuck. I'm like, well, you haven't asked anybody officially to join you, right? So you have to be doing those 3 things. You got to be connecting with people as a no matter what, non-negotiable. If that means you're reaching out to people when you're laying in bed at 11 o'clock at night, sometimes that's what I'm doing, right? Second thing has to be that branding yourself a health and fitness resource, proof the products work, also proof the personal development works. I have to add that in. And number 3 is, of course, asking people to join you, those call to action posts, joining your challenge group, joining your team. So if nothing else happens, like there are months where I do nothing, I've had bad months before. The month of December, my husband was sick twice. I was sick. My daughter was sick. My mom was in the hospital. And then my dad went in the hospital. All of that happened in like a 3.5 week span of time, but I still ended the month with Success Club. So I didn't figure out how to hide hashtags on Instagram, and I didn't do the Instagram stories that I had intended to do, but I hit Success Club because I was connecting with people, continuing to brand myself, and I was asking people to join me. So at the end of the day, those are your main 3 areas of focus each day. If you can fit those in, and usually you'll find when you do it, it's like 20 minutes of your day.
That's actually really good advice. And I didn't even get onto Instagram until after I left teaching. So I built my whole business with just Facebook. Now Facebook has changed and they've since then bought Instagram. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the basics. It's the basics. And you guys, if it makes anybody feel better too. So I was looking at my business activity tracker when I was, I don't actually work on the weekends very much anymore because of doing this full time, and I used to before. I have so many boxes empty, but what I did, and I actually sent Jenny a message, what I focused on were the most business moving activities. And for me, it was, again, like she said, not the warm and fuzzy things, not the fun graphics or the fun little things. And I have not signed up. I haven't signed up any coaches this month. And I've worked harder this month to start coach conversations than I have in a long time. And so I think any seeds that you guys are planting right now, if you've been doing those activities, they will compound. But I found, even when I was a teacher, if I let my foot off of the gas when it came to the business moving things, a month or 2 later, I'd see a full valley in my business. You know what? And I was like scrounging to try to find people, or like trying to close the end of the month by trying to go back to people and get people signed up. So if you can just create, like Kara, I know you work so hard on time management. If you can just give yourself a sense of grace and peace for those things that you did do, like maybe one day it was just you powered out a good number of invites to the next challenge group you had. Consider it a victory. Allow yourself to celebrate victories in each day. But yeah.
Nat, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Kara, I follow you obviously, and I absolutely love you, and you're relatable. I too, I work full time, sometimes 10 to 12 hours a day. So finding time for all of these things, or even finding a pocket sometimes of a good 15, 20 minutes is tough. So I remember about a month or so, maybe a little longer ago, very frustrated. I was trying to add in Instagram stories, my Instagram, post in there, post on Facebook, post here, get out, do my workout, do my shake, do my nutrition, share little ways of how I was doing that. And some recent events happened that I shared with Natalie, where my table, I felt like, was completely cluttered of trying to do this and that and another thing, and just add little things I would see other people do, right, that was working for them. And I can't. Time just doesn't allow that. And so what do we need to be doing? And it just hit a light bulb. Those 4 vital behaviors: invite, do your work. You do your workout, you're faithful to that. You're faithful to your nutrition. You're faithful sharing that. I know so much about your dogs. Geez, I love them, you know, and your hobby, that I think that's great. Like Nat said, focus on what you are doing. Don't worry about what everybody else around you is doing, in a way. Does that make sense? Be mindful and watch that, but don't watch it so close that you aren't noticing what you are doing. If you're inviting, if you're having conversations, right, and you're being proof the products work, I think over time, we're going to see that. We will see it. You can't, right? I mean, we can't be inviting for 18 months and never have anyone, right?
Well,
what do you think?
I think maybe tweaking, again, it goes back to tweaking. Everybody has such a great social media presence.
Yeah.
So like Jenny said, if you're already doing certain posts, but you're not including a call to action, maybe it's a simple, one more line on a day that's busy when you're doing a workout, that instead of just writing some philosophical quote about, strong over skinny, instead you flip it and you tweak it to, make it that it's possible for someone else, and open the door with just adding another line. So it's not doing a whole nother post, but on some of those days you dial in and it's the quality of what you're doing. And I think the same with the invite. So many times we're trying to record a number of invites, but it's the quality of the people that we are seeking and the conversation we're wanting to have with those people that are going to become better. Sorry, Laura, I know you were hopping in.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, actually, Sarah and I talked about that exact thing about the quality of conversations today. And I said, I would rather only talk to, 5 to 10 people and have good, solid conversations with them. I'm not going to be the person that invites 100 people in a month, because I want to make sure the people that I'm inviting know me, they trust me, they understand that I truly do care about them, and I want to help them find a good solution for what they need. But I was also going to talk a little bit about the time management thing. I have 3 kids. I'm a stay-at-home mom, which means I have no time for anything. And my youngest is 9 months old. So I actually had a hard time after she was born, because I started my business 2.5 years ago. So my kids were a little bit older when I started my business, and I was doing really well. And just before she was born, I hit diamond. And then right after that, I dropped rank. um, and I had a hard time hitting Success Club like right after she was born, because I was trying to continue my business the way I was doing it before I had a newborn. And I realize exactly what you guys were talking about. You need to give yourself grace and focus on the things that are moving your business forward, not the shiny stuff. And if it means that you only talk to 3 to 5 people in the day, you're connecting with those people, and it, like they said, it will add up. And I've at least had Success Club points every month now, I think, since she's been born. I haven't hit Success Club every month, but I've been pretty darn close. And then I hit it again this month. And I know it's a result over the past like 4 or 5 months of those business building activities. And it's going to just continue because I'm still doing those activities.
Those are such good points. Well, Jenny, I know it's a little bit later, and we knew that would be the case since we wanted to kind of like give everybody a chance to talk more. But I don't know if there's anything else you want to share, or.
No, I think that's good. I think we had, I had a feeling that once we got going, that people were going to have mutual concerns / struggles / questions. So Abby or Katie, is there anything that you guys wanted to ask or inquire about that didn't get covered? And if anybody needs to hop off, that's totally cool. This is recorded. Just wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to ask.
One quick follow-up on Kara's question is, when I was working full-time, multiple jobs, plus I'm a single mom, when I came back from a platinum presenters conference, on the plane, I drew out like my day, and I blocked out time for specific activities because I just didn't have enough time or energy to work the business. And so I decided I would be like Tara, and I would get up at 4, and then from 4 to 5 I would do this. And now that I work for myself, I kind of do the same thing. I draw out my day, and I block out specific time. But that really helped me to stay on task with the most important things. Like at lunch, my lunch hour was always following up with people, and then so my lunch, I was always busy during lunch. But so my problem now being home is that I get emotionally really burnt out every single day, and I'm only working the business like an hour a day, like actual income producing activity, because I can't handle more. And like I'll try to invite a ton of people and talk to a ton of people, and then I just can't do it. And so I'm just emotionally immature, or like I need to grow there still, because like I feel like I've been doing this for 5 years. I know everything about Beachbody, like and so that's a terrible attitude to have, but I don't know how to get over myself. And then there's days I just don't work at all out of either laziness or depression or emotional burnout. I don't know. It's like I'm going like high, low, like Monday I'll invite 21 people, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, no one. And I'll just randomly talk to some guy from Maine who's a rock climber for like 3 hours one day. And I'm like, that doesn't help my business. Why am I talking to him? That's what I do. His name is, I can't remember what his name is, but.
So let me ask you this. So what activities regarding, like in regards to the business, bring you joy? So outside of like invitations, what about the business brings you joy? Like what brings you back to it?
I love the conversations that I have with actual customers and coaches. Like that's the part I love, is once they've already signed up. Once they already say yes, I really like that. And I do, like, I have some good, when I find good people, I like good conversations. But I enjoy talking to people who have already invested, you know, and helping them, seeing their success. That makes me happy.
Yes.
So
Well, I'm wondering if you just simply need like, I mean, I would tend to agree that like, I mean, I don't sit down and send out invitations. I don't, as far as like income producing activities, those invitations and that sort of thing, it's an hour or less for me a day, for sure. Like, I mean, I plan on crushing a power hour. Sometimes it's 90 minutes and then I move on, right? But there are other pieces that there are certain things that I hate doing and there are certain things that I love doing. And so whatever, like sometimes for me, that's like in my head right now, I have this idea for like a video about our team, a video about like how to present the coach opportunity. And so it's an area of strength for me. I used to write video scripts for my full-time job. Like this is something that it's my creative side. It's just something that's been in my head. So the way that I've been treating my business is like my income producing activities come first. I do that power hour. And then I sit down and like reward myself with the pieces of the business that bring me joy, right? Like I say, okay, now I'm going to like script out some of this video because I'm really excited to do it. Or last night I did a power hour at night and then I sat down and planned out like our overnight. Like I was like, oh, where could we go to dinner when all the girls come, right? Like this is exciting. I love being together. I love celebrating with you guys. So I was like, oh, where could we go to eat? And I was like looking up places we could go that had private rooms. And like, that was something that brought me joy, right? Like, so the whole business, like nothing about this business 100% should always bring you joy. There's going to be things that you hate. I resonated with you a few weeks ago when you were like, ugh, does anybody else sometimes just hate knowing that there's messages in their inbox and they have to respond to them? That's me. If you guys knew how many times I just go to bed at night I'll have like 7 or 8 messages back from people from my follow-ups. Most coaches would be excited that they got responses. And I'm usually like, I'll just do it tomorrow. Right. And there's all kinds of things behind that, but it's just not something that brings me joy. But like you, I do have some things that do, right? Like the creativity side of things, coming up with new ideas, used to be coming up with new ideas for a challenge group, like those types of things really brought me joy. So I would say when you're structuring your day or you're structuring your business time, continue to do those business activities first, but then reward yourself with something that brings you joy after, which is what's going to keep you coming back. Does that make sense?
yeah. Yeah, I think it's because I do the fun things first, which is probably not good. Can we invite Natalie to our margarita night?
Yeah, I told her about it already. February 2nd, we got to. It's so funny. I posted in my leaders page yesterday. I'm like, okay, I've never posted a poll before, but I posted a poll and I was like, do you guys want margaritas and Mexican, or do you want a brewery with beer, or do you want wine and sushi? I knew that nobody would pick wine and sushi. I was like, I knew it.
I would have.
I know, but I knew, and I told Chris last night, I go, Abby would be the only one that would pick sushi. I go, everybody else is going to say Mexican. And sure enough,
I almost said that. I almost commented that, but I was like doing something else. And
I vote
90% said Mexican. So anyways, but yeah, you're welcome to join us, Natalie, and any of your local coaches or anybody that is around.
That's so wine and burgers. Anyway,
I think what I'm going to do is, Abby, I don't know if you've heard of Texi Mexi. It's like my new favorite thing. Search it. They've got a new place close to the square in Noblesville, and they used to do farmers market booths with like homemade guacamole and stuff. This, like literally this old lady makes the best guacamole ever, and they opened a restaurant. And they're actually doing Super Bowl weekend like carry out. So they're doing like brisket tacos, all this stuff. And since it's Super Bowl weekend, I think I might see if we can do it like not catered, but like at our house. It's gonna be super fun. So, but that brought me a lot of joy after I did an hour of things that I hated doing. But go ahead.
I wanted to say something. The other day, Natalie was sharing how she was attracted to your team because you guys were always doing stuff. And I made a post about like I am the wolf and I lead a pack of whatever. And one of my challengers joined as a coach that day because of that post. She's like, I want to be in the wolf pack. And I think about you, Jenny, like, you know, creating our wolf, like creating our pack. We call it a tribe. I've heard that language is racist, and so I'm worried about the word tribe. But like creating like that pack that people want to be a part of.
like, that was cool. I was just posting about my Team Cup team, but she was like, I want to be in the wolf pack. I was like, cool. And then she joined like within the hour. It was awesome. So,
and it was like, it was just a little tweak that you did, Katie. Do you know what I mean? It was like just a little bit of a tweak to a post that you would have done. And you shared that piece that was connected to someone.
yeah.
I know it's getting kind of late, but I can even message you some ideas that I have, because 2018 for me, working from home, was exactly what you described. Most of it. I got completely paralyzed, and I had to create some changes in my environment. I had to give myself permission, like Friday, to get out of my house. And that was my day of go meet a friend for lunch, go, do something rewarding for myself, I love working at bookstores. So go and grab a coffee and finish something fun, like a blog that I was going to do, or some creative piece, just like Jenny said. So I have built in reward things into my day, and I keep writing every day in my high performance planner. And I know it's going to sound weird, even when people are maybe catching this recording later, but the one question that is in the planner where it says something that could have helped me feel more connected to others today. And I keep writing in there over and over, get out of your house and go do something around people. I mean, I was around students for 10 years, and now I'm in my house. And that's why Jenny and I are like having so much fun meeting once a week. We need to move. I also have designated places in my house for certain activities. So I have conditioned my mind to work when I'm at my desk now. And my couch is where I do my PD, and my workouts in a certain spot. So I have like an emotional connection to places that I had to create in my house to work. So I can share, I'll message you too, and we can
It's
chat.
so eye-opening, because I'm an extrovert and I gain energy from people. And being home by myself, even though I'm talking to people all day, I just feel so drained. And that is like exactly true. Like, I actually made a coffee date to meet up with another entrepreneur girl tomorrow, just to like go do something. And actually I was at a coffee shop on Monday, and I wrote one of the best emails. I've gotten so much positive feedback from my customers on that email that I wrote that day. And I think it's just like being out and having, and then Melanie Mitro talks about, sorry, I'm going to talk about Instagram and hashtags, but the more you can tag different locations in your city, like it gets more people to notice you and have their eyes on you, and it connects you to different people. So I've been trying to, like, wherever I go, tag wherever I'm at. But that is so brilliant. And I don't know, I didn't notice that, I didn't see that before. But like,
I get energy just being in the same place, and I feel the energy around me in a bookstore, and all of a sudden, it doesn't matter if it's noisy, I can totally dial in, and I feel like comfortable and energized. So make it part, and I think even on some of your hardest days, if you want to knock out like a good power hour of inviting and conversations, that is probably the day that I need to get out too. Because then I'm not looking at laundry, and I'm not looking at my girls' stuff, and I'm literally like, Natalie, go work and then treat yourself to a tea or a coffee.
yeah.
And it's allowed me to break this cycle that I get into from working at home. So maybe that will help.
Awesome, you guys. Abby, anything from you?
Oh, geez. No, not
Did
really.
Ian go to sleep?
Yeah, and then he woke up again, but I think he's out now. Yeah, we leave tomorrow right after school.
Right. And you're gone for a week?
Yeah, and then I get back. We get back late Friday night, and Eliza's got cheer competition Saturday, Sunday in Muncie. So I get back, but not really. So yeah. I'm got a lot of messages out right now to lock in Success Club before tomorrow when I get on the airplane, hopefully, or at least before Friday at 4 when the cruise ship sails off into the sunset.
I'm so jealous. That sounds rejuvenating and relaxing, and
Yeah, I need it. Yeah.
I'm so white that I'm invisible right now, so sounds amazing. Okay, you guys, well, we're gonna end.
Breaking out.
Say what?
Breaking out everywhere. If it's stress or what? But
Yeah, that's bad timing. Well, Abby's
planning. NLC the week after that.
Huh?
I have NLC the weekend after that.
I know, you got a crazy month coming up.
Yeah.
Abby's planning a Disney vacation for my family and I.
Oh God, I didn't do that today.
Don't worry about it. It's not a rush. I think we're going to go ahead and get our flights booked just because it's Southwest.
Yeah.
No rush. But Ellery, like, we told her one time that we were like, oh, you want to go see Mickey at Mickey's Castle, like a week ago. And every day after her nap, she gets up and gets her suitcase and packs it with like her swimsuit and everything. So I told Chris, I'm like, we're kind of committed, and I'm kind of worried that it's like 4 months away. Like, I don't know how we're going to get to
Yeah.
So. Okay, guys. Well, I know I know I'm going to bed. You guys look tired. So I'm going to sign off here. I'll post the recording first thing tomorrow. Thank you guys for spending time with us tonight. Everybody listening to the recording as well. And we will see you in the group. Have a good night.